Hey there, my fellow patriots and preppers. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, please go ahead and hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and ring that bell like it's an air raid siren 1952. Because today we're diving into one of the most overlooked but absolute essential aspects of prepping. Yeah, that's right. We're talking about communications during a SHTF event. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. I got my phone, I'll be fine. Well, what happens when the grid goes down? When the towers go silent? When your iPhone or your Android phone just becomes a really expensive paperweight? So stick around because in the video, we're going to break it all down. Cell phones, walkie-talkies, CB radios, ham radios, rapid radios, hell, even smoke signals. Just kidding. Kind of. All right. Plus, how to plan ahead, how to communicate with your loved ones, and why the PACE system could literally save your life. Before we start with the main part of the video, I just want to let you guys know that I do have a Facebook, right? Patriot Prepper 82. If you want to, go check that out. Join the page. So I'm going to be posting kind of weekly tips. I'm gonna be doing some other videos on there that maybe just necessarily won't go to YouTube. All right. Also, so y'all can email me if y'all need to, patriotprepper82@gmail.com. All right. I do check it pretty regularly. So if y'all like to email me, maybe let me know what type of videos y'all want me to do, in the upcoming weeks or months. Y'all can hit me up there also. All right, let's get to it. All right, imagine this. The lights go out. Not just in your house, not your whole block, but maybe your whole city, maybe even the whole damn country. That means no cell signals, no internet, no TV, and you have no clue really what's going on. Now ask yourself, how would you get in touch with your loved ones, your friends, your family? How would you know if they're okay? How would you coordinate, meet up, or even know where to go? See, communication is information. And in a crisis, information is power. Knowing what's happening, where to go, who to trust, and when to move. That's the edge that separates the survivors from the statistics. So let me introduce you to your new best friend, the PACE plan. It stands for primary, alternative, contingency, and emergency. Let's break that down. See, PACE isn't just military jargon. It's actually a rock solid structure that makes sure you're never without a way to communicate. Now, hopefully, most of my viewers already know about this. And if y'all do, man, that's great. Let me know in the comments below how you use PACE and suggestions and on what things work for you and maybe don't work for you. But for the ones who don't know about PACE, well, the P stands for primary. This is your go-to for your main form of communication. And for most folks, it's this, right? Yep, the good old cell phone. Texting, calling, hell, maybe even Signal or a Zello app. They work great when the system works. But as we know, it often doesn't when the shit hits the fan. Whether it's from tornadoes, hurricanes, cyber attacks, or something like that. Then it fails. So then you go to your alternative, right? So if your primary fails, you have to move to your backup. Now, this could be something like a walkie-talkie, or this, GMRS or FRS radio. Short range, but they get the job done when you're local. Now, typically, I like to use the rapid radio as my alternative. Now, this is only my alternative in certain circumstances. And let me explain. All right, so these rapid radios, they use cell towers. So if the cell towers go down, these do not work. I would use this on when like my phone might get broken, lost, wet, stolen, just something where I no longer could use my primary means of communication. This goes out as long as the cell towers are still working. I could use this. Okay. Like I said, this does rely on cell phone towers to work. Okay. And so I did do whole other reviews on these rapid radios when I first got them, and I think like the first few months I had it. So if y'all's interested in these, check out my review. All you have to do, Patriot Prepper rapid radio reviews, and you'll find them. All right, so we talked about our primary and alternative. Now it's our contingency. So we're talking something medium range, right, for backup. CB radios or even a ham radio, VHF, UHF comes in here, right? Now, these do not rely on infrastructure. So you can reach out across towns or even states with the right setup, okay? And we'll go into this a little bit more in detail here in a little bit. And then lastly, emergency. So this is your last line of defense. Think maybe ham radio, a satellite phone, or even a prearranged prearranged in-person meetup, okay? Maybe you have to leave a note at your bug out cabin in the woods in a hollowed out tree. Seriously though, plan like that, okay? I know it sounds a little crazy, but in short, plan for your communication to fail, okay? And then plan for that plan to fail. And then make a plan for that failure. I mean, that's just prepper logic, right? All right, so let's start with cell phones. Yes, they are convenient. We all carry one, but during a disaster, a lot of times, these are often one of the first things to go. Why? Well, towers get overloaded. Power outages might knock out your cell towers, right, or the infrastructure. Internet service crashes under high traffic or even maybe sabotage, depending on what type of event we're having, right? And then the emergency authorities might intentionally disable networks. It's called a communication blackout, and it's real. So the best case with this, if you find yourself in that type of predicament, probably text is your best thing to do, right? Text might still get through when calls don't. Worst case scenario, you're talking to yourself, okay? Now, you can install like offline messaging apps. I think it's like Bridgefly and Fire Chat, okay? Now, these typically they don't need Wi-Fi, they don't need cell service, but it's kind of like a walkie-talkie, right? It's line of sight, all right, when you use these. And then Zello. So Zello works. That's more like over Wi-Fi. So you have to have internet, connectivity for that to work. And it kind of makes your cell phone work as a walkie-talkie. All right. So now we're into walkie-talkies, right? And I got a couple of them right here, as y'all can see. This is just your basic, rugged, cheap walkie-talkie, and they work great. All right. So this is a FRS and then slash GMRS. So FRS, I think it's Family Radio Service, and GMRS is like General Mobile Radio Services, I believe. I believe that's what that stands for. If I'm wrong, y'all please leave it in the comments. All right. All right. So FRS and GMRS, these are great for short range, right? Now I know y'all probably buy some of these, or bought them before at your Academy, Walmart, or order them online, and they claim, oh, these could talk up to 35 miles or 38 miles and 40 miles. I will let you know that is bullshit. Okay. These are line of sight. Now you might get the 30 miles if they claim if you're on a top of a mountain looking straight down at the other person you're trying to communicate. But when you start putting trees and buildings and houses and hills in the equation, yeah, it don't work that far. All right. You're looking at anywhere about 2 to 5 miles. Okay. Just line of sight. Now, you do not need a license for FRS. These are very good for communication for your group, neighborhoods, family, small teams. Like I said, if you're in close proximity, okay? Now, some of the cons with these, I would say is, so one, limited range, right? Especially in like urban or mountainous environments, right? And then also everyone has accessibility to the same channels, right? So kind of lack of privacy. What I will tell you is these have privacy codes, right? So there is 22 channels, but there's 121 different privacy codes you put on here. And all it is like a 3-digit number you put in, to where if you're on channel 20 and you put in your privacy code 030, well, another person that's on channel 20 cannot hear your conversation unless they got that privacy code 030. So it's kind of like encrypted, but not. Okay, if that makes any sense. What I would say is if you're going to use this, just remember other people possibly listening to you. So use code words, right? For OPSEC maybe. All right. Also, even though these are, pretty simple, easy to work, make sure your family and your friends know how to operate this before shit hits the fan, okay? Before you... I'll leave that in there. That'll be like a blooper. But what I was saying now, all right, yes, make sure your friends, family, loved ones know how to use these, know what channel to be on before, the SHTF event, right? Or the disaster, or really just before you need to use these, okay? And then my next tip with these, which both of these do have, is make sure you get the radios with the weather alert channels, okay? So like the NOAA, you want those built in because information is power, right? The more information you know, the better off you're going to be, the better, smarter decisions you're going to be able to make, okay? All right, moving on. So next would be Breaker 19. This here is Patriot Prepper. Over. Yep. All right, guys. So next we are talking about CB radios. And if y'all didn't get it, I was like my trucker. I was trying to be the trucker person on my CB radio, all right? So CB radios have been around for a long time. And there's a reason. Because they work, all right? You don't need a license for them. They have pretty good range, right? Especially vehicle to vehicle. You're looking up to 5 miles. And actually, you go a lot further than that, depending on your setup, your antenna, and how powerful your little unit is, and has it been, what is it called? If they got it like an extender on it, right, to make it more powerful. Yeah. So I don't have a visual one that I could show y'all. I'll take a picture of the one I got in my truck, but it's mounted right there in the center console. It's very small. They're easy to use. It plugs up to a cigarette lighter. So it's just another part of my communication plan that I have in my truck. Okay. Like I said, a lot of people still monitor them, especially in rural areas and then on the highways. All right. It does come in very handy, especially driving on the interstate and there's maybe a wreck or a road closure up there. If I have it on, uh, it gives me a lot of intel to where maybe I go ahead and detour before I get to the accident or what have you. All right. What I will tell you, there is some cons to CB radios. One, the static and the interference. Another one, so crowded channels. So you only have like 40 channels, and it's shorter ranged, like I said, unless it's amplified. But it is a very good thing to have, especially if you're maybe bugging out or on like a major highway. Think convoy style. Your family, your group is, you got several vehicles. Um, a good thing to have. It's also great for reaching, like I said, truckers or hearing like real time traffic or disaster chatter. All right. So moving on. Next. All right. Now we're getting into the heavy hitters. Ham radios. So the way I look at it, this isn't just a radio. This is a lifeline, because actually, with a ham radio, you could reach across the planet, literally. So why ham? Communicate locally and globally with these, right? It does not rely on existing infrastructure. Now, some repeaters are different. Some repeaters do use internet, right? Or things like that. But for the most part, they don't. You could transmit voice, data, and Morse code through these. And these are often really, a lot of times, the only thing working in a major disaster. I'm talking about something like maybe Hurricane Katrina, when it hit New Orleans. Really, radios was the only way to communicate, because cell service was gone. Now, what I will tell you, and this is just a Belfang radio. I've got a bunch of these. This is one of their newer models, the BF F8HP Pro. But yeah. Frequency mode. But you do need a license to communicate. Okay. Now, you don't need a license just to listen, but if you're going to transmit, you got to have a license. Okay. Unless it is an emergency. All right. Now, there is a little bit of a learning curve, I will tell you. But I mean, don't worry. You're smart. I mean, hell, you're watching Patriot Prepper, right? Another thing, so these are some of your cheaper options, right? The other gear can get pretty damn pricey, right? But for the basic rigs, it is affordable. But what I will tell you, don't let the license scare you, right? The technician license is actually pretty easy to get. They got online practice tests. Plus, you meet some of the coolest, nerdiest, most prepared folks out there. in these ham communities, okay? And I'll tell you, you'll learn a lot. Now, what I will tell you is I currently do not have my license yet, all right? But I am working on it. Matter of fact, this is the book I'm reading. And what I'll tell you, so I've had these little handheld ham radios for a long time. And I didn't really think I needed a license because, I mean, you can't communicate on these during an emergency. But I failed to realize that, I wasn't 100% positive that I would be able to contact my people in emergency uh, at the time, right? And so I got my license manual, started reading it, and there was a shitload that I didn't know about. I'll tell you that. So that's what I'm currently doing. I'm working on getting my ham's license, technician's license. I should be getting that probably here within a couple months. But like I said, I want to make sure that I'm 100% proficient, and I've already learned a lot as far as actually how to make different antennas, stuff like that, different wavelengths. It's very useful information. And for the guys watching, if y'all got y'all's ham's license, or if y'all currently going through it, let me know. Like I said, this is the book I'm currently reading. Let me know how y'all did it, how it worked out for y'all. All right, moving on. So next, emergency radios. Okay, so this is a crank radio. This got the NOAA emergency channels on it. I think this is a must-have for any prepper, any bug out bag or kit. This does not transmit, no, but it does give you crucial intel, right? This has AM, FM. This actually has weather band. It's crank, it's solar panel, has a flashlight. This actually has that where you can charge other devices on this one. I don't know the name brand of this. But then also I got this right here. Let me put this. And actually I use this radio quite a lot. It's a little portable. This is the Ratty RF320. And I'll put this in the description, guys. But this little radio right here is jam-packed with useful features. So it's AM FM radio. Of course, it does have the NOAA weather on it. This has short band, let's see, air. What else? Let me make sure I'm not air, weather band, FM, VHF, that's weather, and shortwave. Not only that, but it's Bluetooth. It has alarm clock on it, flashlight. The speaker on this thing is tremendous, right? I think I found this, I got this on Amazon. But, all right. So I went over several radios. What I will tell you is you can have all the radios in the world, and they won't mean nothing if you don't know how to contact your people or where to go. That's why communication starts with planning. All right. Now, remember that PACE plan we talked about earlier, right? Primary, alternative, contingency, and emergency. Well, it's not just for communication also. There's several different aspects of prepping that you can use PACE, right? And I use it pretty much every day. But as far as for this video, so you want to set up meetup locations, right? So your primary might be your house, right? Your alternative is a friend's house or a relative's place, right? Your contingency meetup place might be a church, a school, a park, something like that. And then emergency might be your bug out cabin or a remote waypoint. Another thing you want to do is print out your comms plan, right? Whether you're using ham radios or walkie-talkies, print out a channel list, different call signs, maybe map coordinates, rally points. Put a copy in every family member's bag, all right? And then next, drill it, right? Practice talking on the radios. Practice your little bug out simulations, right? But make it fun, right? I mean, I don't care if you call it your family apocalypse Olympics, but just have fun with it. So what we do have to remember when we're talking on the radios is OPSEC, right? Operational security. Because guess what? Bad guys listens to radios too, right? So use code words. You don't want to say, hey, we're heading to the bug out cabin in the woods. No, you want to say something like, hey, we're going fishing or going to the ice cream shop. Another thing you want to do is say your real name or location, especially on open channels. I would always act like somebody is listening to me. Make your communication short, sweet, to the point, and get off of it. Okay? Now, if all means, if you can, encrypt it. Right? I know like ham radios has like digital modes like D-Star, something like that. Of course, different privacy codes, right? Tones. Same way with your walkie-talkies, you have the privacy codes that you're able to make to where it makes it a lot less open, I guess you could say. But just to be safe, I would always act like someone is listening to you. So guys, this is just my ways of communication, right? And the way that I tier it and everything, of course, going from your cell phone to your mine is going to be the rapid radio. I guess it's 50-50. Some people love them, some people hate them, right? I tend to like it just due to the fact that, to me, it's like an alternative to my cell phone. Now, like I said, cell phones don't work, these don't work. But there's other ways of communication. Email, it don't have to be electronic, shit, you could use whistles. You can use chem lights or what do you call them? Glow sticks, right? Signal mirrors. There's other ways of communication. You just have to know how that you communicate with your family and make sure they all know that's the plan. This is how we're going to communicate. All right. Communication is the lifeblood of your survival network. Without it, you're just another person in the dark. With it, you become the signal in the noise, right? The leader that your family and your friends look to when the world goes sideways. So whether you're ham certified, if you're just CB blasting or, walkie-talkieing like a boss, the key is to plan, practice, and pace yourself. Pace yourself. See how I threw that in there? But thanks for sticking with me through this video. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Drop your favorite radio ring in the comments. How do you like to communicate? Please don't forget to subscribe. It really does help me out here on this channel. I'm a small channel right now. I'm trying to reach as many people as I can. I try to get to where it's no nonsense prepping, just good content. I hope y'all enjoyed. Y'all please stay safe, stay ready, and remember, never stop prepping. Those who prepare today survive tomorrow. Thank y'all. Patriot Prepper out. They call me a